Hello everyone, welcome back to the Whiskey Pour. I hope you're having a great day today. My name is Danny and today I want to talk about whiskies that I think you should be drinking in the wintertime. If you're looking at your whiskey shelf in December and thinking, what on earth do I drink at this time of the year, or what should I add to my whiskey shelf at this time of year, this video is for you. I've made a list of 7 winter whiskies which I think work great. Some are heavily sherried, Scotch whiskey, we've got American whiskey, we've got some world whiskey, all different styles, but one thing they all have in common is they all work beautifully in the winter time. I've also created a mood for each bottle to kind of contextualize them, so hopefully that will help. Let's go right into it. Now the first bottle is going to be no surprise because I do admit that I do talk about this bottle quite a lot, but that's because it's genuinely a bottle that I really love to drink. I will never tell you guys about bottles that I don't genuinely love, so if you hear me repeat the name of something a few times, that's because I genuinely do drink it and enjoy it, and that is the Ardbeg Ugdal. The mood for this is the freezing cold night whiskey. When it kind of gets dark at 4 p.m, it's freezing outside, you just want to drink something cozy and smoky and snuggle up, and I think this bottle is perfect. We've got to take a moment for my brand new whiskey glass as well, very kindly sent to me by Glen Goyne. Very excited to use this one. This is an Islay bottle, bottled at 54.2% ABV. It's non-chill filtered and it's matured in a combination of ex-bourbon casks and ex-sherry casks, and of course it's Ardbeg and it's pretty strongly peated. There's no age statement on this bottle, but it's definitely not lacking in character. What I love about this is that it's very smoky and hits you, but it also has that really nice sweetness from the sherry casks going on. Cheers. Flavour wise, you get that really signature typical Ardbeg peat, that bonfire smoke, that almost coastal salty smoke, but underneath you also get that really nice sherry sweetness, so the dried fruit notes, the caramel notes, the chocolate notes, that gorgeous rich sweetness kind of holds this all together. This is not a subtle whiskey. It's exactly what you want when it's freezing outside, because there is nothing subtle about this. The flavours are going to punch you in the face, so you've got to like smoke and you've got to like sherry cask, but if you do like those two, I love this for wintertime. Okay, mood number 2 is the after dinner sherry bomb. You know when you've had a big wintry roast dinner or a very big wintry meal and you're absolutely stuffed, you pretty much can't move, you don't necessarily want dessert, but you want something luxurious to drink that will just wash everything down perfectly. For this kind of scenario, I love the Glendronach 15 Revival. It's a 15-year-old Highland whiskey, even though very Speyside style. It's bottled at 46% and it's matured in a combination of Oloroso sherry and PX sherry casks. Oloroso brings that drier, nuttier, spicy side, and PX is sweeter, a little bit stickier, more dates and dried fruit. And you can really taste both in the glass of Glendronach 15. I think this is exactly what people think of when they think of winter whiskey or Christmas whiskey, because it pretty much tastes like Christmas cake in a glass. It's full of rich fruit, chocolate, spicy, caramelly, sweet notes, just super luxurious. Sits perfectly after a meal. You just sip it slowly and it just goes down a treat. Okay, mood number 3 is a cozy movie night. I am talking about a cozy night where you want something really comforting, but not necessarily something very heavy, nothing very, very sherried or very smoky or anything like that. And this is where Glen Goyne 12 comes in perfectly. Now, Glen Goyne is a Highland distillery. They don't peat them all at all, so no smoke there. They use slow distillation and they have a big emphasis on their casks. And the Glen Goyne 12 is matured in a mixture of sherry casks and bourbon casks. So you still get those sherry wintry notes, but it's not heavily sherried. It's nothing like the Glendronach 15 that I just described earlier. You get a lot of that bourbon cask as well, which gives it a little bit more of a lightness, a little bit more of a vanilla and honey undertone. It's bottled at 43%, and flavour-wise, you get kind of orchard fruit, apple pear notes, also some citrus, orangey, but also lemony, a bright, zingy lemoniness on there. There's also vanilla, like I mentioned. It's quite vanilla forward, and a little bit of baking spice on the finish. It's not a whiskey that kind of shouts in your face. It's a whiskey that's sort of very easy to drink, perfect if you're lying under a cozy blanket, just want to pour yourself a couple of glasses while you watch a great film. Mood number 4 is a hosting whiskey, I'm gonna say. You've got some people over for a winter celebration, maybe you've got some whiskey drinkers, maybe you've got some people who don't necessarily drink whiskey all the time. You need something that is approachable but still is going to feel special, and I think that in this scenario, Four Roses Single Barrel is a great option. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon bottled at 100 proof, so 50% ABV, and this recipe that they use is a higher rye mash bill. It's about 60% corn, 35% rye, and 5% malted barley. It has a yeast strain that leans into delicate fruitiness. Because it's a single barrel release, the exact flavour profile can slightly vary from batch to batch, but generally the flavour profile is pretty similar. Flavour-wise, it's very vanilla forward, but also quite fruity. I'd say orchard fruits, some caramel, and a nice amount of that rye spice kind of running through it, and specifically on the finish. It's very flavourful and a bit punchy, but still approachable enough that I think it's a great one if you're trying to introduce people to bourbon that has a bit more character without jumping into something that's super intense. I don't know, let me know if you agree with that. This next one is for when the house is quiet, maybe you've had a long day, everyone's gone to bed and it's just you want to sit and have something in your glass that you kind of want to think about what's in your glass, and for that I'm going with the Clynelish 14. This is a Highland whiskey. Actually, saying that, I've put quite a few Highland whiskies in this list, but this is a Highland whiskey that I actually spoke about recently in a video where I was speaking about the Highlands, and it kind of reminded me of it. Clynelish is known for having textured whiskey. It's quite oily feeling. It just has a good amount of bite to it, and I can't believe I forgot it for so long. It's such a great dram. Flavour-wise, it's quite honeyed and citrusy, a little bit salty, but the main thing about this dram, the main differentiating factor, is definitely its waxy texture over what it kind of tastes like. It's definitely not a flashy whiskey in any way. It's more about its texture, as I said, and its nuance, and that's why I just love it as a good late night pour. Slow, easy, good to drink. Next mood, the festive whiskey. This is what you are going to want to pour when the lights are low, maybe the Christmas tree is twinkling, you're feeling festive, you want something sweet and comforting and just rich. For this scenario, I love the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon that's been finished in a second barrel that's been deeply toasted and lightly charred. That second maturation gives it loads of extra sweetness, loads of extra oaky depth. It gives it that almost dessert-like profile, but it's still not over the top. It's bottled at 45.2% ABV, and flavour-wise, it's winter dessert in a dram. It's got deep caramel and chocolate and an almost marshmallowy sweetness. It's dark and soft and warm and just perfect for those festive cozy nights. It's also one of those bourbons that feels really luxurious without being crazy expensive, which is also always good. And the last winter mood that we're going with is when you're sick of rich, heavy bottles and you just want something crisp and refreshing, even though it's winter. And for that, I'm going with Hakushu Distiller's Reserve, which is of course a Japanese whiskey. I spoke about this whiskey recently on my Instagram. Hakushu sits in the Japanese Alps. It's literally made in a beautiful Japanese forest. It's matured in a combination of American oak, ex-bourbon oak, and some lightly peated malt. Hakushu really reflects that foresty, herbal, greeny style. It tastes almost slightly minty. It's just super light and crisp to drink. It's super clean, it has that really nice, almost woodlandy fresh note. It's almost the whiskey equivalent of walking outside after a big meal and just taking that breath of fresh, crisp air. It's just perfect if you want almost a palate reset in the midst of all that very rich, wintry, heavy food or drink. So there you have it, 7 whiskies for 7 different winter moods. Let me know if you have a suggestion for a winter mood and a whiskey that pairs perfectly with it. I love reading your comments, and I don't always reply to all of them, although I try to, but just know that I read every single one, and I'm so appreciative to this community on YouTube. You guys are truly the best. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to The Whiskey Pour. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one. Follow for more.